Good morning, intimacy of race. How is everybody doing this morning? Welcome to what may be the final episode of Coffee and Conversations for 2020. Not sure if I'll be back on the last two Fridays in December. It is holiday time and we got a lot going on. You know, everybody has a lot going on, and I want to respect that as well. But I still may be popping in here and there, maybe just not for this scheduled one. So please say hello if you're joining us live, and let us know where you're joining from, because I want to see how far this reach goes. And ask anyone who watches any of these coffee and conversations, hello. Just says Facebook user, but hello. And nice to see you here. And, you know, in any of these conversations that air on Coffee and Conversations, whether it's with me or with someone else, if you find it valuable for those who you love. Guatemala. Is that you, Monty? I just spoke to a friend who lives in Guatemala last night, so let's see. Of course it's Monty. Hey. Sorry, I'm not like 100% energy today, because I've just been up literally since 3:30 this morning, and it's 9 o'clock here with a sick dog, and she's in the hospital now. So please send prayers and good wishes that it's nothing really serious, and then she'll be fine. And you know, what's been on my mind to talk to everybody about this week, maybe something you want to share, because around the holidays and any time when we're with family members, friends, loved ones, whether it's virtual on the phone or in person, you know, the relationships that we hold near and dear to us have been challenged in a lot of ways, especially if people are not in the same, have the same beliefs or value system that you do, and are coming at different sides of the aisle, so to speak, or not only the political spectrum, but just really what some of the problems we have been experiencing, at least in the United States, are happening. And you know, recently I had the opportunity to be in some powerful discussions around race as the only African American or Black voice in that room. And I have to tell you, and I wanted to share with you honestly, those conversations, although well-intentioned in that particular setting, left me feeling a type of way. I was literally shaking. And I'll tell you why. The amount of, I would say defensiveness, but defensiveness light, definitely superiority. And even though well-intentioned, that the white community holds as a whole, especially when you're the only Black voice in the room speaking to the Black experience, can be quite overwhelming and upsetting. And here's why. And this may be something that you can use to take into your own leadership when you are in this position, especially if you're the facilitator of something, or have a certain amount of influence, or am in a leadership position, is to really take note, to listen to the Black voices in the room and hear what they're saying without the need to, without the need to defend your position, or, you know, and here's what the most triggering is. If all right, let me catch my thoughts here. If there is a white person in a discussion, in a group of people, and there's only one Black person there, and a white person says something and a Black person shares, and this is just practical stuff that I think will support you in allyship, shares their feelings, a third white person or a different white person doesn't need to interject and defend the other white person. And here's how it lands for a person of color. It feels like being ganged up on. It definitely feels like being ganged up on. And I'm going to say, I know it's not the intention, but it's a natural inclination for white people with that genetic, and I will say genetic superiority, to jump in and defend each other, because you know how each other is feeling. And it's just a natural human tendency. But if you ever are in a situation, and it happens more often than not, where the Black person is the minority in the Zoom room or the group or the discussion, let me caution you, because I'm a strong woman. I'm a resilient woman. I have been the only in a room for more times than I can remember being a part of a majority in the room. And let me tell you how that feels, because the Black community is actually having their own awakening to what they will or will not or will no longer be resilient and silent about. We've always been silent about these feelings that come up for us around white people, but we will share them with each other and with groups with each other, given the opportunity. But more often than not, we just take it. We swallow it, we move on, so not to offend or make white people uncomfortable. It's in our nature because of our history of being killed when we make white people uncomfortable, or being discriminated against or harassed, or, all those forms. It's in our genetic makeup. What's happening now with all of the culmination of events in 2020 is we are speaking up more. We are standing up more. We are sharing our feelings more. How you can be an ally and support Black and brown people, BIPOC, when they do so, is to really be appreciative of them sharing their feelings without defending why you said, or why your friend said, or I know her, or I know him, and this is why, and X, Y, and Z. That feels oppressive. And I'm talking about feelings. I'm really talking about feelings, because the feeling and the intention, I know there gets to be a distinction, but it's what you as white people do naturally. And I want you to be aware of this in a way that you can take note when you have that feeling to take over and be a voice of authority in something you really have never experienced. Is if you can sit with that and just be an appreciation for how difficult it is for us to share in a space when we are a minority. It's very, very difficult. I got to put my glasses on to read the comments. Yes, it is oppressive, and you're welcome for me sharing my heart, because that's the only way, guys, that we are going to come to a deeper understanding and appreciation for each other's experiences around racism, and how racism shows up in our day-to-day being. So I know a lot of people who want to be in the space of allyship are all about the doing. What can I do? Just tell me what to do. I can give to causes. Should I call my congressman? Should I call the mayor or the local police department? What can I do? And here's what I want to say. I so appreciate you wanting to do something. I get it. I was in that same space. What could I do? But for white people, you've got to be it before you can do it. Because what happens is, until you can be in a space of knowing that, I don't care how long you've been in DEI work yourself as a white person, or in social justice yourself as a white or white presenting person, this is a different level. It's a deeper level of awareness and understanding of how your natural superiority shows up in these spaces and how we as Black people feel. And I know it's your intention to help, and I know you want to do the right thing, but the first thing you can do is you've got to take a step back. Even if you're a facilitator of an event, please listen, because I have to tell you, the amount of residual discomfort, it felt like a re-traumatization, and I know that wasn't the intention. And this is just me, that I have to deal with my feelings, but I know I can't be the only one. When white people, as I'm sharing, tell me what I should and shouldn't do and how I should and shouldn't share. And the fact that we get to share our feelings and our experiences is huge for us, because it's never been comfortable to share in a room of white people. And appreciation and acknowledgement for the bravery of the share with whatever situation you're in is going to go a long way. And here's what else will go a long way. Asking what the Black or brown person in your midst needs from you to feel supported in the moment. Because what happens in the air of superiority is the natural tendency to tell them what you're going to do or how you can support. As good intentioned as it is, and I'm really trying to find my words here, because I heard a dog bark and my dog's in the hospital, and so there's a lot of emotion going on, and I want to be fully present to you and make sure I say the right things. And even if I do say the wrong things, forgive me. It's okay. It's okay. That's another thing. Be okay saying the wrong thing, but please listen. And I'm just trying to give you nuggets so that you can show up more powerfully for your Black and brown friends. And it was something that I heard in a Brene Brown podcast recently. And she was having a conversation with one of her Black friends. And the way Brene handled it in a way to say, I hear you. That's got to be tough and uncomfortable. How can I support you? What do you need me to do? Is there anything you need me to do? You know, I want to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. I want to support you. Tell me what you need and how this can be supportive. And what happens in a lot of group settings and organizational settings is when the white people take over and tell us, here's how you should do it. And I would just really invite you to be in a space for a while. For a while. This is not an overnight thing. Is to listen and to hear what will be supportive for the Black and brown people in your organizations, in your communities, in your friendship circles, without taking the voice of authority. And it's as simple as, is there anything I can do to support you? How can I support you? I want to make a difference in a positive way, and I do not want to make the pain any worse. And acknowledge and appreciate the person for being willing to stand in that space. That often we find ourselves as Black and brown people being in a space where white people get defensive and upset or start crying over their realizations and their awarenesses, and we take on the role of comforter. And that's not going to work any longer. I know that a lot of people feel shame, blame, and guilt and uncomfortable when they make a mistake. And I appreciate those feelings, but white tears actually pour salt on the wounds. White tears do. And I want to say this in a way, and not that your emotion around it is not powerful, but sit with your feelings in private, in a meditation, in a group with other white people, because your tears can, not all the time, sometimes re-traumatize us and And because instinctively, Black and brown people want to hold back because you're getting upset and you're getting defensive. And we don't want you to feel uncomfortable because of the ancestral and generational effect and result of making white people uncomfortable. So if this is something that is an awareness for you, that is something that you can hear me saying without hearing it as being critical, but really wanting to support you and how to show up as a better ally. This is the intimacy of race. We get to have these intimate conversations. And so I really wanted to come with a heart to support your intention to be an ally and to be helpful and to be stand shoulder to shoulder with us. But in group situations, please be mindful of not only your feelings, but your Black and brown people's feelings. And don't put on, and here's another suggestion. Putting undue pressure for that Black and brown person in your group to speak for all Black people. I don't speak for all Black people, but I've spoken to enough people in my communities to know that, and I've followed enough of them, that a lot of what I'm feeling is really congruent with a lot of what other people are feeling in the Black community. So I feel safe sharing it with you like this, that it's not just me personally, but everybody's like, yes, 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 we feel it. And we're starting to be more vocal about it. So the less criticism that we get from people who want to be our allies as to how we share vocally and let us share our feelings, because we're going to make mistakes too. We're going to get it wrong too. We are not going to be perfect in this, but know that for a lot of us, it's the first time speaking up in such a way and sharing in such a way. And you get to allow us space and grace as well. But appreciate the courage that it takes to share in this way. So, and I want to give you a little bonus. Please do not tell me how articulate I am or any of your Black and brown friends. That statement, although well-intentioned and meant as a compliment, is a knife in our chest. Why, might you ask? Because I dare you to notice how often you say that to a Black or brown person as opposed to a white person. The implication is that Black people are not articulate, and when they find one that is, it's an anomaly, and it gets to be spoken out. Here's what you can say instead, because I'm all about giving practical information. Let's see how I want to say this. I couldn't have said it better myself. Is a less painful way of saying it, but that articulate, and I've asked so many other people, I was like, am I the only one that's just like, why is it a surprise that I'm articulate? What do you expect me to sound like? I don't have a big college education or big degrees, but I can form a thought and create sentences that make sense. And that shouldn't be a surprise to you. It shouldn't be something that needs to be called out. It's like, wow, you took a shower today. Why? Do I always show up dirty and funky? I mean, come on, let's get real about it. So if you've ever been guilty of saying or doing that in a setting to a Black or a brown person, please no longer say that. Beautifully stated is a nice way to say it. But calling somebody articulate, there's an undercurrent of most Black people aren't, and you're one of the rare few. And I might just do coffee and conversations about different microaggressions that could really help you move forward. I'll think about that. Let me know. Okay, so that was just my bonus tip for today. And I want to wish everybody a really happy and healthy holiday season. Please be safe. Please do what you can to take care of yourself, to keep yourself and others safe and happy and healthy. And please find the joy amidst everything. I mean, we made it. We made it through the year. I know that's not true for a lot of people, and if you've been affected by any tragedy due to the events of 2020, my heart goes out to you. And I pray that 2021 brings us all better year of health, prosperity, joy, and progression in the movement for racial justice, equity, and equality. And that you don't give up the fight, you don't get weary of it, but that you learn about ways of being so that you can do better and we can all have better. But you got to be it before you can do it. So I just implore you to be patient in really looking for ways that you are still showing up with racist ideals in your life. So I think I started talking about relationships and then I went on a tangent. So I welcome messages from anybody. DM me if you're having a struggle or challenge in a relationship when it comes to somebody being drastically on opposite ends of the spectrum as you are, and you want to have these intimate conversations. Happy to support, happy to let you know how I could support. And again, I appreciate every one of you being able to step into the uncomfortableness of this work and your desire to get it right and not just to be right about how to get it right. And yeah, that's it. And please pray for my little Lexi girl who's in the hospital right now. And her mama's worried, but I'm committed to showing up for you. And I made the commitment, and I'll pop in and let you know how she's doing. Love you all. Bye.